Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today we have a match in the Harbin, one that comes down to, dare I say it, milliseconds as far as whether we secure the victory or take defeat. So make sure you stick around because this one is a nail biter. It's an absolute nail biter. Anyways, Harbin, the tier 7 Pan-Asian cruiser, of course, coming out of early access next week with the full-on, with their introduction. We'll also get the tier 8 introduced into the game. Harbin's the tier 7. What do you need to know about it? Well, she's the only one currently available in this update that is Russian-made. The first two, the Shumpon, and I forget what the other one, the tier 4 and the tier 5, are both British-made. The tier 6 is American-made. The tier 7 is Harbin. It's Russian-made. And that's one of the weird things you get with this line of ships is you get that weird variety in trade-off and characteristics. And I have to say Harbin is kind of the jewel of the line as far as we know so far. She is definitely the best one. Makes sense. She's up at tier 7. And that mainly comes down to her being Russian built and kind of inheriting some of those Russian stats. But before we kind of dive into that, I should say commander as far as who we're using. We're running Shen Shuokan. He is the cruiser commander, and we will go ahead and put up his build. There we go. But Harbin, if you haven't been tuned in with these lines, what are we looking at? Well, destroyer caliber guns, deep water torpedoes, lots of them. Very, very explodium-made ships. That is the kind of idea of the line. And what's nice about Harbin and it being Russian-made is its shell ballistics, the profile of its guns. All of the other boats tend to have kind of lobby shells, and that's okay. Those have their place. But when you're made of a boat that is explodium, you're going to want to be able to play a little bit at range. In order to play at range, you need good shell velocity because you want those shells to arrive in a reasonable amount of time, you could say. And also, if a ship is maneuvering, have the ability to get shells where they need to go before the ship kind of maneuvers out of the way, which is what Harbin is really, really good at. The other thing you may notice about Harbin, let's go take a little peek down below at those consumables. Beyond the usual damage control party, we do have a decently long smoke. With our build, we get 4 charges of it, which is absolutely wonderful. If you know where and when to use the smoke, you can be incredibly deadly. After that, you have 3 heals. The heals on Harbin, not the best, but that's mainly because I feel like if you end up taking shells in Harbin, if your turrets don't stop the shell and blow up in the process, I do find myself losing one of the front turrets a lot of times in games just because they end up tanking a shell and just getting blown up. Well, if they don't, if the turret doesn't tank it, your Citadel tanks it, and well, you don't heal back Citadel damage the way you heal everything else back. So the heals, they're okay, but I would not anticipate to really be able to use them on a consistent basis. They don't really they you know, you tend to take a lot of Citadel damage is all I'll say, or at least I tend to take a lot of Citadel damage. That could be up to the way I play Harbin and the general aggressiveness that I play with. That could also just be me. After that, you'll notice we have 3 torpedo launchers, or 3 torpedo reload boosters, and well, 4 torpedo racks, each holding 3 torpedoes. 4 times 3, 12 torpedoes, times a torpedo reload booster, 24 deep water torpedoes. Yeah. And oh, by the way, we have about a 12-kilometer range on said torpedoes. It's fun. It's fun. Like, the thing that I've come to really enjoy about the Pan-Asian cruisers is they play like giant destroyers. Giant destroyers with a Citadel. which can be a blessing and a curse, especially if you're someone who kind of loves to play destroyers and want to experience something with a much higher skill ceiling. The Pan-Asian cruisers are the ones. So that's my bit on Harbin. Let's get into the game, because you've seen we've kind of been dawdling over on this side in the B-roll. Our center line, the rest of our team, has done a very good job of taking everything in the epicenter. And you could say, you know what, Tommy, your side, we've been doing great. We've been holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've been, holding off the majority of the enemy team over here. This key has been somewhat hesitant to push in, but at this point, I think he saw that one of the battleships is down. Now he wants to make his push in, but we've been kind of delaying the side here, kind of keeping that bit clear. And shout out to the rest of our team, who has been doing a pretty good job of pushing in and securing, which, hey, is really good. Big shout out to who ended up being the Lafudre, who is just posted up as a sentry right in the middle, right? He's doing a great job. And as a result, even though we are, in all honesty, down boats-wise, because we've only lost battleships so far, so we've taken our biggest points hits, we are well ahead on points because we've been able to cap that area, because the rest of the team has played the objective. And that is kind of what you need in Harbin in order to succeed. You need teammates who are playing to their best ability, who are spotting for you, who are doing other things, because there are times if you want to be able to do damage, you're going to need to kind of rely on the rest of your team to spot. So what is the plan? Well, we are closing in on only 200 points to go, and if the enemy team has any brains, they are probably realizing that, which means they're going to try to push in. We're going to try to bully this Baltimore as long as we can, pester him to get away, and then we're going to push up because we see where the rest of the enemy is. We want to be able to have our guns able to cover the rest of the cap, so that if we have teammates who are able to spot for us and see who is where and what is where, we will be able to lob shells in and, try to help defend. Because at this point, it's a defensive game. We are now officially very much down on ships with only 1 battleship and 3 cruisers remaining. We are going to have to play this smart. The other good thing we know about this position is, well, there's a beautiful gap in these islands that we will be able to use to launch our torpedoes. And that is going to be a key part of our defense. So we're going to kind of angle ourselves right on over here. The thing that we do start to notice, though, is, with only 1 battleship and him taking up a very advantageous defensive position, that means we don't really have anyone to spot. We would be probably prime suspect to be the one who's going to spot, especially because we are going to have to start engaging these guys. We go ahead, pop off a salvo, see that we get instantly spotted, go ahead and pop the rest of our thing. I'll be honest, at this point, I don't realize that we have the AP loaded right now, but we'll take it because we're doing some okay damage. We also end up now sharing the smoke with our teammate over here. We're going to go ahead and dump 2 sets of torps, because if this Iowa continues to push in, we want to be able to engage him with those torpedoes. We're going to spread the smoke out as far as we can, and that's going to do 2 things. One, it's going to maintain spots on this Iowa, which is great. The bad thing, though, is it means that we are not going to be able to fire our guns, because if we fire our guns while we're out, it's not going to be good. We go ahead, pop our reload booster right there, and just try to get more torps in the water. We want danger fish on their way to these guys. If we can get those in the water, if we can get some hits, we may be able to hold out, because we are now, if you look, at 929 points, and the enemy is quickly coming up. And the bad thing is, though, they've pushed to the center. They are now in the middle, which means we are no longer going to accrue points naturally. The only way we are now going to be able to accrue points is if we either sink ships or push them out of that cap, which is why we're doing what we're doing here. This big, dangerous turn right here, trying to get the other set of torpedo launchers on the mark. We can see he's starting to hit reverse. We take a couple of hits from what I assume is the enemy New Jersey. You see how we take just 1 shell, it goes the wrong way, and we are essentially devastated after being a hit. We had our full health, and we are now down to only 8,000 health. We're going to retreat back behind this corner here. One of the Azurle New Jerseys, no longer able to spot us, the one who ended up citadeling us. That Iowa out on fire, and I believe he's on permafire because we hit him with a torpedo before. So he obviously repaired the flooding damage on him. He's now taking that damage, though. I doubt it's going to be long-term damage. He's probably well within will to rebuild, and a single fire isn't going to outdo will to rebuild. So what do we do? Well, clearly this New Orleans not interested, or maybe he just doesn't have the concealment to be able to spot, right? I don't know his situation, but that means we are probably at this point going to have to be the ones to spot, which is unfortunate. So, you know, our teammate is asking for the support. We see the Iowa who has the least amount of health. We're going to go ahead dump torps towards him because he's probably going to be staying somewhat still for the rest of this match, right? He doesn't want the chance of I don't know, pushing us back in. And at this point, enemy team has in fact captured all of the points, so we need to be able to sink these ships. I'm gonna hit the reverse here in the hopes of being able to maintain spots on that back Iowa because he is so close. If we can sink him, it's a 60-point swing, right? Or it's a 100-point swing, but 60 points in the blue, which is what we need. We need 90 points, so we need either 2 battleships or a battleship and a cruiser. Miyoko coming out into the center gets absolutely slapped by Lafudra. I'm going to dump my second set of torps out towards these guys. We're only 10 seconds away. We pick up the Miyoko kill with the torpedo, and then we're going to make this turn. As we make this turn, we are spotted. Our friend, the Azurle New Jersey, spots us, but we have one of those other torpedoes take out the Iowa, and it ends the game as that New Jersey is firing what would have been the fatal salvo on us. But guys, that's Harbin. What did you think? Like I said, down to the wire. If we had lasted any longer, if that torpedo hadn't hit, we would have been wiped and not won that match. But guys, if you liked the video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.